Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here and welcome to this Aimless Wanderings vlog for the Sorry Doctor's post-regeneration story special, A Sorry State of Affairs, and I almost forgot the title. So A Sorry State of Affairs is basically the Sorry Doctor going around Gloucestershire, or parts of Gloucestershire anyway, basically running amok. First of all, he's arrested off air, let's say, by some police officers from a nearby, let's say, town, village. Don't know where the police station is. It's not Pastelbury's, unless after being taken away from Pastelbury in the ambulance, I suppose, maybe. But at a police station in Gloucestershire, the Sorry Doctor is interrogated by some police officers, but he is a new man. He doesn't really understand quite a lot at the time, and he talks some babble that they don't understand. The police officers interrogating the Doctor decide to call an ambulance because he's a bit mad, and he breathes some of the regeneration energy out. In the hospital ambulance, they find out the doctor and the nurse find out that they've got the actual Doctor finds out that the character, the Doctor, the Time Lord, has two hearts, so he and the nurse try to operate on him, but the character of the Doctor escapes and basically finds himself at a golf shop where he gets some new clothes apart from a hat and shoes, and he leaves early because he's been told to get out, which the owner is a bit upset with himself about that because he forgot to ask him to pay. Then the Doctor has to steal some shoes and a hat from two wealthy golfers, and then finds his way to a bus stop where he meets an old woman. He accidentally insults her, and then she and the bus driver of the bus that arrives at that moment threaten to smack his bottom, so he runs off. Then he reaches Pastelbury, where he used to live, and he meets up with Old Man Stewart from the last story, part one of the last story. I think Old Man Stewart's only been in 2 stories, sadly. It'd be nice to hear him again. 2 stories specifically, 2 episodes. And then, after accidentally causing some havoc at a cricket match during the celebrations of the Doctor's predecessor's so-called death, the Doctor makes it back to the Rotten Pastel, has a bit of a chat with the bartender. Quick thing here, the bartender says in his mini rant that he came up from the north. He came up north to the job, but then later on when he's reflecting on his old job, he said he came from the north. So did George Broad just muddle his lines at some point, saying that? I'm guessing the character did come from up north. Maybe he meant, because I swear he says he came up north. Maybe he said come from up north. Maybe I just misheard it. Maybe George Broad didn't say the from bit. By the way, from is in the southwest, but I don't think they're that far south. Although the story after the next one will be in Somerset. And the one in between is in Suffolk. We're all over the place in the south of England. Okay, let's just presume the bartender's from up north. Okay, let's just say George Broad muddled the lines a little. And then the Doctor goes off Aimless Wanderings again as the Sorry Doctor's normal travels. The final scene features him and David a little bit later on in his life, presumably after War of the Doctors, between War of the Doctors and the Greatest of Friends, and they just go to the pub for a bit of a visit. However, things haven't turned out exactly what he thought the bartender was going to do, and gets his teeth knocked out by some thug, country thug. The story ends on that note, with the exception of the story ends there. However, the Fruit Pastel Doctor makes a post-credit cameo at the end, like he did at the end of Doctor Cubed and Jim Part 4, basically telling the audience that we're going to be hearing more of him. Cue the Fruit Pastel audios. The following, hang on, no, this is 2015. Cue the Fruit Pastel Wave 1 stories the following year, plus his appearance in The Race to Friends and other stories. No, it's just those ones at the moment, actually. Yeah, he's only in his wave and The Greatest of Friends after this point. And also the Doctors remembered how much of a dick he was as Fruit Pastel, so he's trying not to be like him. So, yeah, that's basically a story state of affairs. It's basically just a Doctor going around causing a lot of antics after the regeneration. Considering it's the regeneration following Fruit Pastel, it makes sense that the start of the next incarnation would be a little bit wouldn't be able to understand as much what's going on, as he's pretty much spent many years of being mad, and also being able to reflect on what others thought of his predecessor, and then deciding what he wants to his new incarnation to be like, which is pretty much a softie in this one's case. I think Wave 3 was going to change that a little bit, but the first two stories, which are the only two out at the moment, don't really show it as much, at least not on reflection. We'll get to those when we can, but Wave 3 earlier on doesn't really reflect this darker / mysterious tone journey Sorry was going to go down. As for this early one, he's also not quite the Sorry is not quite the bit of a wimp as we see him in earlier stories. I think he's going to get a bit wimpier and softer as he goes along before he gets onto the mysterious path, before he becomes the pompous one. But yeah, this is a good start for Sorry, and it's very funny, and everyone does a good job. There's a lot of guest actors in this story, lots of guest actors, and some of the regulars doing multiple roles, like Richard B. Brooks and Joel H. Jolson, not surprised there, and Chris Thompson. Billy Tracy even gets a cameo, and then you've got guest actors like Stuart Hardy, Jacob C. Rose. Let's look at the cast list. You've got Martin Lejeune, I think Jamie Catalyst, and Andrew Boulette, and Stuart Lloyd, and as well as regulars Benji Clifford, David McLaughlin, and George Broad. I accidentally played the bits. That was Fruit Pastel, as you heard. But yeah, pretty big cast. In fact, they even had an alternative cover when it was released. It had a cover with just Daniel Sherratt's name, and then an alternative cover with everyone. I think now it's got a new cover which just has Daniel Sherratt with David McLaughlin, George Broad, and Benji Clifford. Which, yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Could have had Joel H. Jolson added there as well, because he has a lot of characters, but oh well. And yeah, and the radio stuff at the start, that's fun. And I like the gag that's only been around for 2 years. That was funny. And the stuff with the Fruit Pastel Doctor being very funny, especially the Bucks Fizz Dilbert. That is very good. No! Not now. Just getting into character here, my dears. No! Not the Bucks Fizz Dilbert. Dizzy, dizzy Daleks. Okay, that wasn't the best impressions, but still. Final thoughts. I think the audio is a bit of a meander at times, but it's still fun, and it sees the Doctor in these wacky situations. It also does feel like a epilogue to War of the Doctors, or a part 7, if you will. I kind of have the similar feel with Time and the Rani to Trial of a Time Lord. It feels like Time and the Rani is a epilogue to that, a parts 15 to 18 of the story. Yet it isn't really, especially with all the expanded media stuff, such as Big Finish's Sixth Doctor Last Adventure stories, for example, pretty much filling in the gaps between Ultimate Foe and Time the Rani. But for some reason it just Time of the Run just feels like Trial of a Time Lord parts 15 to 18 to me at points. And kind of an epilogue. And this story kind of feels the same to War of the Doctors. It feels like part 7 of that story, even though it's not really part 7. So, yeah, it feels like an epilogue. So overall, I'm going to give this story an 8 out of 10. It's very good, very entertaining, very funny, but I wouldn't particularly call it an amazing story. It's still good, but yeah, it's good. It's very good. So that's it from A Sorry State of Affairs. Next time we'll be looking at the first audio in the Dynamite Doctor's first wave. Boom goes the dynamite. That's the wave title, not the episode title. The episode is More of the Daleks. See you guys next time. Goodbye. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne Retro YouTube channel.